Hello, this is Linda Williams with Discover the Fire, and today I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Ted Cibik. Dr. Cibik is a Sifu healer researcher and Taoist priest and graduated as a doctor of medical Qigong from the Beijing Medical Qigong Science, that's a mouthful, and Traditional Chinese Medicine Research Institute. He is currently the executive director of Inner Strength Health and Education Center located in Leechburg, PA, and sits on the board of directors of the National Qigong Association. He offers workshops and private and group Qigong training programs. Welcome, Dr. Cibik.
Thank you.
You've been practicing and teaching Qigong for a long time. Can you share with us what led you to begin?
Well, I wasn't really led, it was almost forced. I was born with very severe asthma, and that asthma was so severe, I was labeled as one of the 10 worst asthma cases in the world.
Oh my God.
And subsequently, when I was 5, I had an asthma attack that lasted 5 days. I was hospitalized. They tried some experimental procedures on me, and I died. And so when I came back 15 minutes later, they were astounded. And psychologists followed me around for the next 10 years and wanted to know what I had seen on the other side, what had happened. Of course, making sure that I was mentally sound. They were talking to my parents, trying to find out what happens in the life after death. And so it was after that, my body was obviously very frail, very weak. I wanted to study martial arts. I was just so enamored with Bruce Lee and Kato on the Green Hornets and everything. I guess that's dating myself. But, it just became such a passion that my parents just, okay, they just caved. And my first experience with doing jiu-jitsu, I had an asthma attack because of the dust on the mat, ended back up in the hospital for 3 more days. And my parents says, this is not working. But I begged and pleaded, and I was a very tenacious child. And so they arranged for me to have private lessons with this gentleman. And his deal was, I'll teach you martial arts, but you must learn to meditate. And so, meditation was first. That was the discipline. And then the martial arts training came after. And so I became very intrigued in all of this, and I didn't know it at the time, but he was teaching me Qigong exercises to help me to strengthen myself. So it started at a very young age, and it's continued ever since.
Wow, that's quite a story. You look very healthy. You look to having gone through all of that.
Well, it all worked out well, let's put it that way. So I got a really great education, the best kind of education you could ever possibly hope for, and I got my body healthy, and now that's what I do. I try to help others in mind and body.
Yeah, that's marvelous. So can you tell us about Formless Daoist meditation, Formless Daoist Foundation,
Right.
and what you'll be offering on Discover the Fire?
Well, it's kind of a little bit of a snapshot of what we're trying to do. It's a 2-year program that we do, but the first year is called the School of Wisdom and Understanding. And by that I mean you have to have the wisdom to understand yourself. So it's really about an exploration of one's mind, how one's mind works, and how to be friends with your mind. Because I found that a lot of people, their worst enemy is their own mind. And so they get into meditation and Qigong, yoga, whatever it may be, as a way to find some peace. But unless they have the cultivation of understanding their mind, which a lot of these disciplines don't teach, it just becomes mini vacation while they're doing their Qigong, but then they're back with the same thing that plagues them the other 23 hours a day, including at night when they're sleeping. So Formless Daoism is a way to practice various types of Qigong meditation, but it's really a way to understand your own mind and make your own peace.
Now, do you have a particular practice or a lineage or anything that you promote through this, or is this kind of a compilation of your own learnings and learnings along the way?
Well, it's interesting, when you die, you are able to see things in a completely new light, no pun intended. And so it's really just allowing oneself to find a language that you can express that to people who haven't. So it was very convenient that I found something in the Chinese medicine, the classical Chinese medicine. So I became an 88th generation disciple of Yuqing Hulang Pai tradition, which is J-Purity sect. And in that kind of teaching, I really found a language that I could use to unveil what I had literally felt, seen, and experienced in language that has already been developed. So I use that as the foundation and the bedrock, but what I'm actually teaching is really for my transition.
Okay, wow. So it just kind of all came together, because I imagine having gone through that as a young child and not really being able to relate to too many people about what you experienced, and to find that in that wisdom is pretty awesome. So, so who are the people who might be drawn to this particular type of training?
Well, in my classes, very psychiatrists to people that have been doing Qigong for 20-some years, to acupuncturists, RNs, people that are in the healthcare community, people that just really have been plagued with various illnesses, people that are just curious about how to make their minds work better as they age. And so it's very diverse, which then brings diversity to the questions, which then helps everyone in the class. So my classes are very diverse in their normal lives and what they do, but because of the various types of education and experiences, that really brings a really interesting class to the forefront.
Yeah, I imagine it's really rich getting all of those different backgrounds and levels and things together.
Perspectives, and there's all kinds of ethnicity, there's all kinds of dogma, religions that are coming in, and so we're able to cross-reference a lot of these things and still come up with common language.
Wow, very good. So, so what do you think is, getting back to your training, you mentioned the first year, what about the second year?
Well, the second year is called Divine Union and Teaching, and that's really coming to understand, once you can work with your own Qi, and Qi is just, I always joke, I always say Qi is like tofu. You can flavor it any way you want, and it could be pestilent Qi, or it could be, divine Qi. It's really the mind that gives it the flavor. So you have to understand the mind so that you can understand the Qi. And once you have that, then that is what I call the great communicator. And that is what allows you, being embodied in this physical body, this Jing body, this body of matter, to then understand divine concepts. So Qi becomes the great communicator between that which is tangible and that which is intangible.
Wow, that sounds very, very interesting. So, just out of curiosity, what part of your training, how much is devoted to meditation and how much is devoted to kind of doing form?
There's really no form.
No? Okay.
Formless, which is really a tongue-in-cheek, but that's to go back to the original kind of teachings as well, to when there was just the curiosity of a child.
Okay.
It always asked,
beginner's mind, yeah.
So I wanted to get back to that purity without sect, without dogma, without ritual, and getting back to the pureness of the mind. And so I kind of did this whole formless thing because it really evolves based on the participants of the class. And if I feel that they really need to become more yin and they really need to meditate more, then we'll meditate more. If they're more yang, then we'll do Qigong forms. It's really to allow their mind to be able to be matched with the greatest way that's going to allow them to become comfortable within their own mind. So every class may be different, depending on the needs of the class. And that's the great thing about being able to read, feel, and see energy as I'm able to. I can tell where the class is at
and what
every
they
weekend.
need. And what they need, yeah.
And what they need.
Wow. Now, does breath play a role in this as well?
Yes.
You have a
yes. Yeah. I mean, it's definite that I found. I just lectured to a group of psychologists, therapists in San Diego. And it was interesting to me that none of them knew the breathing techniques of basic Taoism. And so when I shared this with them, there was probably 500 to 600 people out there. They were like blown away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many people that could be benefiting from this. And there's so little that is being taught in this realm. So, but breath is very important.
Well, our time is just about up. So are there any last words that you would like to say to our viewers to entice them to participate in your upcoming course on Discover the Fire?
Well, I think they should go to the website and check out Formless Daoism. And they can also look on Facebook and type in Formless Daoism. And they'll get a feel for where I'm headed with this. And, you know, it's kind of like everybody was going to get something different out of it. That much I promise. Everyone's going to get something different. But it may be what you need at this particular time.
Well, that's the beautiful part about it is if you get what you need.
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you, Dr. Cibik. We look forward to learning from you in the near future at Discover the Fire, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.